Something major just happened with Palantir, and almost no one saw it coming. A top analyst just flipped their entire prediction, saying Wall Street got it wrong about Palantir. And now, we're looking at a potential breakout that could send the stock flying. Leaked reports say over $8,500. But is it actually real? And how is it even possible? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. The whole community is going crazy today. One analyst just stepped in and dropped a bombshell, something huge. According to him, Wall Street's been wrong this entire time. Yep, you heard that right. All the investor chatter, the usual market talk, the endless speculation, he says it's completely off. He broke it down and explained exactly why everyone's been reading Palantir the wrong way. In fact, he thinks Palantir is right on the edge of a major breakout. Because here's the twist. Palantir isn't moving like the rest of the market. It's doing its own thing. But hold on. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's look at something that seriously backs up this analyst's claim. Palantir is up nearly half in just the last 10 days after tapping into the weekly market trend. And it's not just a quick spike, it's still holding strong. This is usually the spot where the big players, the institutions, step in and start defending the move. Now, according to him, if he had jumped in somewhere around the high 60s to low 70s, he'd probably be locking in a little profit, maybe trimming about a fifth of the position right here. There's a chance we see a pullback, a little reset, maybe even form that classic inverted head and shoulders pattern. And here's the wild part. Other tech giants like Nvidia and Tesla, they're slipping right now, thanks to the market shaking up after Trump's latest tariff talk. But Palantir? Whole different story. And that's exactly what the analyst was pointing to in his statement. The hype also isn't slowing down. Not even close. Because now, another analyst has stepped in and made an even bolder claim. According to him, Palantir isn't just on a strong run. It's on a path to becoming a $20 trillion giant. Yeah, trillion. And what's wild is how he says they'll get there. Not just by cranking out software, but by building these verticalized operating systems. Stuff like warp speed, and eventually evolving into an actual network of digital twins. That's a whole new frontier. Now here's where it gets insane. If Palantir ever touches that kind of valuation, we're talking about a stock price somewhere around $8,500. That's like multiplying where we are right now by more than 80. It's life-changing territory. That kind of move creates millionaires. Lots of them. It puts Palantir in every headline, every portfolio, and brings in wave after wave of new investors. Which is crazy bullish for all of us who've been here since day one. But wait, some people are probably sitting there thinking, what? 20 trillion? That's nuts. That's delusional. But hold up. Before we dismiss this, let's unpack what the analyst actually said. He straight up called out the market, saying Wall Street, and pretty much everyone else, has it all wrong. People keep misunderstanding what Palantir even is. For years, folks were calling it overvalued, overhyped. You remember, when it was trading under $10, the same tired lines. Too expensive. Doesn't make sense. No way it deserves this valuation. But the company evolved. The critics didn't. And that gap? That's where he built a heavy position, before most even caught on. Because here's the truth. Palantir isn't being priced for what it's doing today. It's being priced for what it's becoming. A core part of the digital infrastructure that's going to power the AI-driven industrial world. And if you're still stuck on outdated metrics, trying to force this into traditional models, you're not doing real analysis. You're just using old math to dodge new questions. And those questions? They're getting louder. Just yesterday, NATO didn't just give Palantir another contract. They picked it as the core digital infrastructure for Europe's entry into the fourth industrial revolution. This isn't one project. This is about Palantir becoming the digital backbone of an entire continent. We're talking energy, defense, logistics, AI governance, across borders. Europe isn't just hiring Palantir. They're aligning with it. In a world that's getting more fragmented, where software equals power and speed is survival, Palantir is becoming the go-to partner for nations that can't afford to get it wrong. And you can't plug that into some basic DCF model. You can't compare that to some company selling dashboards. That's why Wall Street keeps missing it, because Palantir doesn't fit into their neat little boxes. So they ignore it, mock it, dismiss it as just another meme stock. But while they were laughing, Palantir was embedding itself everywhere. Into the US defense system, into NATO's AI strategy, into Europe's energy grid, into the factories and logistics chains of the new reshored economy. Because when you're building real infrastructure, not flashy apps or pitch deck prototypes, the work looks slow until suddenly it's everywhere. And now it is everywhere. AIP is spreading fast across both commercial and government sectors. Foundry is running critical operations in healthcare, energy, defense, places where failure just isn't an option. Gotham? It's literally the nervous system for allied intelligence. And NATO? They just said what's been happening behind the scenes. Palantir is becoming the standard. So yeah, according to him, he doesn't care if it's trading at what the critics think is an absurd sales multiple. Those same people missed everything from margin expansion to operating leverage, to the insane amount of cash Palantir's stacking. They missed the geopolitical lock-in that's happening in real time. This isn't some hype cycle. It's a monopoly in slow motion. And that's exactly why the stock's been climbing lately. This is why all the noise about Palantir being overvalued is just that. Noise. And honestly, after hearing what this analyst laid out, that $20 trillion target, it doesn't sound so crazy anymore. Not when you see what Palantir is actually becoming. And here's where it gets even crazier. You might be thinking, all right, cool story, but at the end of the day, don't the charts have the final say? Well, guess what? Another analyst stepped in and shut that down too. He basically said, even if you're looking at the charts, it's a whole different ballgame with Palantir. Every time someone starts whining about Palantir's valuation or whether it's too expensive, he's like, I just tune it out. Because that kind of thinking completely misses the big picture. Valuation isn't some fixed little number you can just slap on and call it a day. It moves. It evolves. And right now, the charts are literally screaming that the price is way ahead of those tired models and ratios people are still clinging to. Just look at the action. Palantir's been grinding up, blowing past resistance zones like they're nothing. And once it clears that next key level, yeah, the one right above where it's hovering, it's game over. All-time highs could hit fast. The market doesn't care what your spreadsheet says it's worth. It's not looking backwards. It's pricing in what's coming. And what's coming is way bigger than the 50 or 100 billion targets the old-school analysts are throwing around. See, the people screaming bubble are stuck in the past, comparing Palantir to boring old companies or short-term earnings reports. But the charts? They're painting a whole different picture. Higher highs, higher lows, and the volume is there to prove it. The market is betting hard on Karp's vision and the fact that once someone plugs into Palantir's platforms, they don't leave. Now don't get it twisted. This isn't about buying at any price. Nothing is. But if you're just sitting on the sidelines waiting for the valuation to make sense, you're playing checkers while the rest of the market's playing chess. The truth? The price is already running ahead, and the valuation is the one playing catch-up. Palantir's not waiting around for permission. It's not asking for approval. It's moving. And when you zoom out and start thinking long-term, it really feels like Palantir's future is glowing. Just like that analyst said in his tweet, Palantir is locked in. No hesitation, no maybe. He called it a sure thing, way ahead of the game. And honestly, looking at everything they're doing right now, it's hard to disagree. They're not just dabbling in AI or tossing out buzzwords like most companies are doing. Palantir's already deep in it. Building, deploying, scaling, they're leading the pack by a mile. And the craziest part? They've got the best team in the world making it all happen. The talent over there? It's the next level. People who don't just follow trends, they build them. And you can already see the results. From dominating in defense, to reshaping how governments and massive corporations use data, to now being handpicked by NATO as the core infrastructure of Europe's digital transformation, Palantir isn't guessing where the world is going. They're building the road. The vision, the execution, the positioning. It all lines up. This isn't just momentum. It's strategy, it's timing, and it's leadership. So when someone says Palantir is the future, they're not hyping. They're just telling it like it is. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, then turn on the notifications bell on this channel. Missing an important Palantir update might make you lose money, so don't risk it. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.